The number one thing that'll determine if you are going to learn your language is motivation. So if you were to compare a hyper polyglot with just a regular language learner that's taking Spanish 101 because it's a requirement at his school, motivation is what separates them. Why would somebody spend so many hours learning so much if they don't care for it? Really, at their core, motivation is what pushes them. And the reason that Spanish 101 kid that really doesn't care and doesn't try is not motivated at all. Of course, effort is necessary to become good, but to even put in that effort, you need motivation. So effort is really only made when we're motivated for something. Why do you do something you hate unless it's for money or for some deeper reason? Why would we do something that's hard? Maybe there's money involved, maybe there's some opportunities involved, and with studying, there's probably a goal involved. You will never put effort into listening to a podcast or opening a book if you're not truly invested. Motivation, however, is not a constant. We have days where we have less motivation, and that's okay. What most people do to push past that moment is to create goals that take us beyond our short-term whims. But still, if we made those goals, we have an underlying motivation that motivated the creation of those goals. Maybe there's some motivation to become better. Maybe there's some fear of failing your goal. For the most part, for me, motivation comes without any effort. I don't really have to convince myself that language learning is good. I just enjoy the process. I just want to learn Japanese for the sake of learning Japanese. And that's not a weak motivation to me. For some people, that's too weak. For others, the true motivation is that they want to impress and speak to their in-laws. That's pretty strong for some people. But I would say it is possible to manufacture motivation to some extent. For example, you can tie language learning to something else you really want. For example, you can say, I won't watch the TV show I really want to watch until I review my vocab cards. I do that a lot where I have these arbitrary negotiations with myself in order to do something I really want to do. And that could work for you. That's something I would recommend for a lot of people. If you really can't push yourself to do something, just tell yourself, I'm not going to do the thing I like until I put in my language effort. You know, just like our parents told us to eat our vegetables, if we don't eat our vegetables, we won't get dessert. Do something like that with language learning. For example, maybe there's some TV show in English that I really want to watch, but that doesn't develop my language skills. Now, if I watched something in Japanese, that might develop my skills. So maybe I'll make the negotiation that I'll watch something in Japanese for 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes of that English thing I wanted to watch. But still, at the core of it, you need some underlying motivation to even make that negotiation with yourself. If you make arbitrary negotiations, you can still ignore yourself. So you can conclude that there's a natural ebb and flow of motivation that is totally valid, totally okay. Putting down your language is valid. It is totally okay because life happens. We don't need to do an hour a day every day. And you shouldn't beat yourself up if you haven't done your language for quite a while. You can always push yourself to get back into it, and I've made videos on that before of how I've done it, but it's okay to put it down. There's no race. Don't compare yourself to other people you see on the internet. They have their own set of circumstances, which is why their language is at a certain level, and it's okay to not be the best. And really, there is an equally sinister evil of pushing yourself too much, where you associate language learning with coercion or misery, which is not what we want. If you're associating language learning with coercion and discomfort, who puts themselves through misery and discomfort every day? Actually, scratch that point, a lot of people do that. But I should say, I don't think it's viable to associate language learning with misery and coercion. I am not a motivational speaker, and a lot of language learning channels really love to get into that motivational topic. That's not really for me. I just want to say a couple ways that I motivate myself. I just have kind of a natural drive to learn something and talk to people from other cultures. That's really exciting to me. When those moments are not there, I can manufacture a little bit of motivation by making some kind of agreement with myself. If I learn this now, I'll do this. If I push myself to do a page of grammar work, then I can have this delicious muffin. I do that on Instagram quite a lot. That's something else I need to mention. You'll see in my Instagram pictures, like, with my notes, I have like a full cup of coffee or like an uneaten muffin. That's because I took the picture after I was done with the learning, right? And the food is the reward. So if you see a picture of language learning with some food that was never touched, that's because that's my reward. So maybe that'll work for you. Maybe you should reward yourself with a nice little coffee when you're done learning, or some food that you enjoy. Who knows? Oh, I do that a lot with kanji, right? So I'll have the picture of the kanji that I'm learning, and then you'll see the full plate of food right next to it. So clearly the eating happened after the learning. That's that on that, I guess. Be sure to like this video. What do you do to stay motivated? Are you a very motivated person? Are you very driven to learn languages? Or is it something you have to coerce yourself into doing a bit? Maybe that's with these little rewards. Maybe that's something more serious, like with the risk of failing a test. Maybe you have to sign yourself up for a language test in order to actually push yourself to do something. Let me know in the comments, because I would love to share and hear what other people are doing to stay motivated. So on my social media, you can see me do all sorts of language learning on my Instagram. I have a website where you can learn some things about some languages, get some tips about learning as well. I have some articles about the French language, some about the German language, a lot about the English language, and some about language learning at large. So maybe you'll enjoy my website. I'll see you for another video very soon. Hej då!